the design phase. The design phase, coming from the planning phase, when you're done with the planning phase, the typical thing to do in this context is to move into the design phase. And like I mentioned, this is within the context of an IT project. Now, what typically plays out in the design phase is prototyping. You want to figure out exactly what to build and how it should work. Prototyping comes to mind. Wireframings, prototypings, process flows, business process models, flows, just putting up designs that helps in delivering. So you want to picture what you are building so that you can begin to feel what you are building even before it becomes materialized. Okay. Now, one of the core activities or core documentations relevant to the design stage is a requirement document, because for a requirement document, we need to list what users need in the requirement document. So during the design stage, what we will be designing would be in line with what the requirement document is saying, what the users want to achieve out of the system, how the system wants to function or react to the users. So this requirement document gives a picture of the different users involved that would be interacting with this system upon deployment, the different needs that these users would be served, how their need to be served using this solution, the user stories, what these users want out of this system, how the system would interact with these users, and also documenting a list of what the users need and how the users would interact with the system gives an advantage in terms of the design stage, because that's where it is important. That's where it is needed. So you need to factor in this requirement document before you produce a viable design, a viable prototype, because you are prototyping on the basis of trying to solve a need. Whose need? Users' need. And that's why requirement document is relevant. Business requirement document. In this case as well, this is a list of what the business wants, why it matters, shows what problem the business wants to solve. So this BRD, how is it relevant in the design stage? It's relevant in the design stage because it gives a clear picture of what the business wants and what problem the business wants to solve. So documenting this BRD would mean you documenting it from the perspective of the client's business view, how the project would achieve a business objective. So you are tying the project to the business vision or the business goal, highlighting what the project would solve in terms of the needs of the business, how the project will solve certain needs of the business. So BRD is very important because, of course, in designing, providing prototypes and everything, you must be sure that whatever you're designing, whatever you are coming up with, the solution you are framing must speak to certain users, and it must speak to the goal of the business. Of course, the project would typically aim to serve a project group, serve a customer group, but it will serve the business and its objective, most importantly, because it is only when it serves the business that the business becomes even profitable, that the business becomes even better for it, for the initiation process in the first place. So BRD is a very important document in this direction. We then have FRD, Functional Requirement Document. So it's a list of how the system should behave. So Functional Requirement Document, it guides the development team in building the right functions. So it tells them, the system should respond to users within 10 seconds of clicking. The system should be able to allow the users to input their username and password. The system should allow all those specific user functionalities are actually what a list of FRD looks like. So providing a list of how the system should behave. So given the parameters, you are spelling out everything that the system should be able to do in your FRD documentation. We then have product requirement document. This is a list of product features. It helps the product team know what the product should do. By implication, it's a list that helps the product team to begin to envision this project when it crystallizes, because this project, the outcome of a project is a product. By the time you're done with a project, it becomes a product. So envisioning this product by way of listing the key features of the product, it helps you to know what the product should do. So it helps you to keep focus on the goal of the outcome of the project by implication. So the PRD document actually helps to allow the team members to maintain focus as to the outcome of the product, which is the product, as the outcome of the project, which is the product in this instance. So it helps the project team members to stay focused on the outcome of the project, which is now the product. Very important document as well. Now we have the SRD, the system requirement document, very likened to the FRD. So in some instances, either you find them as FRDs or SRDs, as the case may be. System requirement documents just spells out the technical detail for the developers. It helps them to build the system properly, helps them to understand what the system should do. So while writing their codes, they're able to write in line with what the system should actually do to be able to actualize the goal of the project, to be able to see that the business objective is also met. So it's very, very important document at this point. We then have the business model Canva. So this business model Canva is a picture of how the business works. Why it matters is it keeps the project in line with business goals. Now, why do we need a business model Canva in the design phase? You are documenting within the design phase, you are envisioning this project as a big picture. You are trying to conceptualize or wrap your heads around the objective of this project by way of what the project aims to achieve. So it is important to look at the business side of things, because it's not enough that you are considering the project by itself, excluding the business strategy or the business needs that this project is trying to solve. So you are looking at for instance, the business model Canva it has 9 building blocks. So you consider the customer segmentation, you consider how you intend to serve your customers, you consider the costs, how the cost to the business, you consider. So there are 9 building blocks to a business model Canva. When we begin to talk about some of these documentations, and show them in subsequent sessions, you would then be able to see and appreciate some of these explanations